Jai Gurudev to all of you. Myself Rohit Dutt and I am taking a business studies class. So students, in our previous class we have discussed the importance of management and today we will be discussing nature of management. Okay, so before we begin, I just want to remind you again that please go through the e-PDF of this chapter so that learning may be more effective. Okay, coming to the point, that is nature of management. Okay, see, if we trace the evaluation of management, we find that its nature has changed over a period of time. Long ago, it was thought that managers are born and they cannot be made. This was the thinking of that time. Clear? So, as the time passed, a set of managerial rules emerged and grew out of experience. With the passage of time, business developed and the managing of group activities got a momentum. So, during the last 6 or 7 decades, its impact as a formal body of knowledge is being increasingly felt. So much so that experts have started considering it as a science, art, and profession. This is our point. Okay, science, art, and profession. So, over here in this topic, we will see that whether management, whether the features of science, art, and profession are present in management also or not. So, in your NCRT, they have given the features of art as well as features of science. You can see in the in below, then features of profession. So we will see that these features whether they are present in management or not. So coming one by one. So our first topic is management as an art. Okay. So what is art? It's given here, and if you want to go through, you can. But I'll just tell you. Oh, sorry, you can go through the NCRT. This one, okay? It's clear in the screen itself only that is art is the skillful and personal application of existing knowledge to achieve desired result. Got it? Okay. I'll just come to the points. See, students, I will not go through the. I will not read this one, two, three. Okay, features. In fact, I will just come to the point whether they are present or not. Okay. So first point is existence of theoretical knowledge. So art is always based on certain theoretical knowledge. Everyone knows. Okay. So on the basis of this knowledge, one can understand how a particular work can be accomplished. So, in this context, management is an art as a lot of literature is available in various areas of management. Clear? So, take an example that we are studying the business studies book. Okay, so it is also a literature of management. So, we can say that, like in art, there are various literature, various content to read, and same in our book also. In same management also, there are lot of content, lot of content, and we are studying it. Okay, so hence we can say that this feature of art is present in management. Got it, everyone? So coming to our next point, that is personalized application. So the use of personalized application means use. Okay, so personalized, the use of available theoretical knowledge is found in varying degree among different persons. For example, two teachers, two players, or two goldsmiths, okay, will always differ in performing their jobs. So management possesses this feature of R too. Clear, everyone? So there are various principles of management as developed by management experts. Managers apply these principles difficulty, sorry, differently depending on their level of knowledge. Okay, everyone studies in your class itself. You can see that everyone are being taught the same lecture, but the understanding and the use of that knowledge is different. Okay, the one who is coming first, he uses it in a better or optimum way. Okay, and the person who is coming last rank, he's not using that one that effectively, or he has not paid any attention to that, to that content. So, managers apply these principles differently depending on their level of knowledge. Sometimes they may get exactly opposite results while applying the same principles. Got it, everyone? Like today, the the current situation, that is coronavirus. Okay, we take the example. uh, each and every country are using the same method, same policy, that stay home and be safe, isn't it? But the cases of different countries are different. Okay, they are applying the same policy, but they are getting the result um, against. Okay, so coming to the third point, that is based on practice and creativity. So just as art can be embellished with the help of practice, in the same way managerial skill also improves with practice. Clear, everyone? So it is uh, from the heading itself you can understand based on practice and creativity. So every manager has a desire to become a complete expert in his field. So what they can fulfill his desire by continuous practice. A fully developed manager not only molds the organizations according to the changing circumstances, but also has the capacity to change the outer circumstances according to his will. So thus management possesses this feature of R2. Okay, so from the above analysis, it is clearly established that management possesses all the characters of arts, and on this very basis, it has been accepted as an art. Okay, so we can say that management is full-fledged art. Got it, everyone? Uh, as a science. Okay, so again, same policy we have to apply here. That is, in order to find out whether management is science or not, so it is important to apply the following characteristics. So let's start. First one is our systematized body of knowledge. You can see systematized body of knowledge. So it is necessary for science to be a systematized body of knowledge. Management is also a systematized body of knowledge because it has its own theory and principles. Okay, we will study in next chapter the principles, so which are developed by the management experts after years of research. Clear? Got it, everyone? Now coming to our next point, that is principles based on experimentations. Okay. So guys, after applying these characteristics of science to management, we find that development of management took years for the collections of facts, their analysis and experiments. So in other words, management came into existence because of the continuous and encouraging labor of the theorists and various people concerned. Okay, coming to the third point, that is universal validity. Scientific principles are based on truth. Okay, and they can be applied at every time and in every situation. Thus it is universal application is possible. So in the field of management too, managerial knowledge and principles of management are considered to be based on truth, and they can be applied anywhere and in every situation. But the principles of management are not exact as the principle of science, as their application may not yield, okay, the desired result always. Clear? Because we are dealing with the human, so that's why it's not necessary that we will get the true picture. Okay, because as science are dealing in the facts and figure, okay, and they are not dealing with the human, but management is dealing with the human, and so that's why we can say that we are not as perfect as science. Got it? So here we can say that partial present. Clear, everyone? um, we can in the conclusion we can say that the subject matter of management is human being. Okay, so who is an intelligent and sensitive being, and whose behavior or conduct changes according to the changing situation. So therefore no permanent principles like principles of physics and chemistry can be entrusted in relation to his conduct or behavior. So that is why the management is known as social science and not as a perfect science. Okay, everyone. So coming to our next topic, that is management as a profession. Okay. So students, let's begin. First point is well defined body of knowledge. Okay, the foremost quality of professional is the possession of specialized knowledge. Okay, so management has its own principles based on experiments, and which require special competence to bring them into use. So on the basis of this specialty, management can be accepted as a profession. So this feature is present over here. Coming to next point, that is restricted entry. So the entry to a profession is restricted through acquiring an educational degree. For example, a degree in law is essential for joining the law profession, but as far as the management is concerned, there is no such condition for being a manager. Hence, on this basis we can say that management cannot be accepted as a profession. Okay, this feature is not present. Okay, so coming to our next point, that is professional association. The third characteristics of profession is that it must have a respective or a representative professional association which performs the following important functions, like to regulate entry, to grant certificate of practice, or to create a code of conduct for guiding the activities of the professions. Okay, so in India, representative professionals associations with regard to other professions have already been established. Okay, you must have heard the name of AIMA. Okay, All India Management Association. It has been established, like uh, in Jolly LLB2. You have seen that there was a bar council. Okay, uh, which was asked to remove the Akshay, okay, from there, isn't it? So it was the law association. Okay, it was the Bar Council of India for lawyers. Same type. We are also having an association, that is uh, All India Management Association. Okay, so but it is not essential to be a member of AIMA. Okay, but in other cases, in professionals like lawyer or medical, or a doctor, you need to have a certificate of members. Clear? So therefore, on the basis, management cannot be accepted as a profession. Got it? So coming to our next point, that is ethical code of conduct. So member of our professions are bound to follow a code of conduct, and you have studied in class 11 differences between business, profession, and employment, and there was a basis, that is code of conduct, and I have told you that there is no code of conduct for business. Okay, but in profession there are code of conduct. Okay, code of conduct means the rules and regulations framed to guide the behavior of professionals. So the code of conduct is already recognized. Professional like law, medical, or and chartered accountant, etc., have already been prescribed, but no such of code of conduct has been laid down in connection with management. So on the basis, it can be asserted that management is not um, at all a profession. Okay. Last point is our service motive. So the main motive of profession is to serve the society. So for example, no doubt a doctor follow his profession for his living, but to ensure that his patient gets justice. Okay, happen to be his chief motive. Even isn't it? As currently in our environment, we are seeing that how doctors are uh, busy in saving the life of people from coronavirus. Okay, so uh, though there is no code of conduct regarding management, but its social responsibilities are being stressed upon increasingly. You have learned it in class 11, chapter number 6, business studies. Okay, there is a whole chapter. So from this point of view, there should not be any hesitation to accept management as a profession. So we can say that service motive is present in management also. Okay. So students, I hope this is clear to everyone. So I'll end up my class today here. And further, if you are having any query, then please let me know in my cell number. Okay. Thank you. Jai Gurudev.